The merits of the markets and the relative merits of the markets in this argument, I think, will probably belong in another place. But Taoiseach, a few minutes ago, the euro dropped to 1.29 against the dollar, and that is a 12-month low. Shares are falling throughout Europe today. The Italian bond yields are going up, and it seems that whatever the merits for Ireland in this, the European markets and the markets of the world are giving the thumbs down to this deal. They're saying this is a disaster. S&P are about to give another downgrade, I think, to various banks around Europe and maybe nations as well, sovereign debt around Europe as well. I'm sorry. The second question is this, and it's a more relevant question, and that is, what benefit has Ireland got from this particular deal that the Taoiseach brought back to us? It seems to me very little. And it seems to me very little because the two principal dynamic areas of the Irish economy have been threatened by this particular deal: the IFSC and the multinational area. The IFSC, it's been well publicised what happened in that particular in that particular spat, which occurred on Thursday and Friday in Europe. Britain withdrew from the deal and pulled out. Can you take that out? Take it out. Take it out.
Yeah, there is. I think the deputy there is trying to address it.
Okay. Okay.
It's not mine.
It's not. I don't know where it is.
It's the Politburo in Brussels you want to worry about, or in the ECB. They're the ones who are dictating at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. The best thing is to proceed.
Operates openly here.
Okay. Thank you, Lachlan Keller. The IFSC is obviously threatened by the fact that the British are looking to exempt themselves from any deals, any Tobin tax, any threat in that area. It's okay, Keller, is there anything we can do about that? Okay, I'm going to move over there. All right. Move down one. Okay. Yeah, thank you. The IFSC is obviously threatened by the fact that it'll be competing with the British city on different terms, and obviously there's going to be a competitive disadvantage to the IFSC. First of all, if a Tobin tax or a tax, a financial transaction tax, is introduced, as appears to be the intention of this particular deal. Also, if the British get the bit between their teeth and they decide that they will compete on laxer terms, there will be a move from Ireland to the UK of many of these companies who have located here for tax reasons. That tax advantage will be removed from them. And the Taoiseach, I think I'm right in saying, didn't mention this in his speech, and I'm interested to hear his response to that, because there are approximately 33,000 jobs involved either peripherally or directly in the IFSC. If they are threatened, the situation will get worse. And that is an area which should have been defended at all costs. That is an area which we cannot afford to lose. It's a vibrant area, it's an expanding area, it's an area of which we can be proud. The second area which is threatened for Ireland by this deal is undoubtedly the area of multinationals. And I do not accept for one moment the dissembling that's going on about the 12.5% corporate tax rate. Let's make no bones about it. The people who are pulling the strings in Europe want to see us lose that rate. Sarkozy and Merkel made it absolutely plain yet again last week that 12.5% was in their sights. Now, it wasn't agreed specifically at the weekend, but it's in their sights. They said it last week. What was agreed and what was mentioned was the corporate tax base. That's the distinction which is always being made. It's a semantic, Jesuitical distinction. And the Taoiseach himself said in March last year that the corporate tax base is the I can't remember his words, but it's the back door to the corporate tax rate. You said that, Taoiseach, last March. And you're right. And they're only using that language in order to mollify us while they introduce what you call fiscal coordination, they call fiscal union, and once we get to fiscal union, we get to tax harmonization, and once we get to tax harmonization, we're down that road. It's in our sights, we're powerless, we won't be able to do anything about it. And we can see this from the fact that it wasn't on the table. It was, sorry? Sorry? Okay. I must get injury time for the microphone. For the microphone, I was going to say. So the multinationals and the 12.5% are threatened. But more seriously, where is Ireland's place now in Europe? Do we have any friends in Europe? Because I see the removal of the UK and the fact that we're in there on our own. I see that we are an isolated nation. We're on the inside, but we're on our own. And the Taoiseach is fond of saying, as are his colleagues, that we've got great political capital. We've earned great political capital in recent times because of the fact that we're putting our house in order according to the diktats of Europe. I don't want to be patted on the back by Sarkozy and Merkel. And that political capital was used up yesterday when Kevin Cardiff got through the European Parliament. That was what the political capital was used for. In an unprecedented move, the government's nominee was passed mainly through the EPP. That political capital was used up against the wishes of the committee. Okay, I know you're calling me to a halt. Could I just say one thing then? Treaty change requires referendum. And may I reiterate what my colleague Deputy Boyd Barrett said. Why are we so frightened of a referendum? It seems to me that the only strategy being pushed at the weekend was that Ireland wanted to ensure that there was no referendum because it would be defeated. We should be very happy, not only on the last deal, but on this deal, to go to the people, yes, put a referendum to them and make the argument. Because the arguments so far are that the two pillars of the government's policy, their strategy, first of all, by the way, consistently stated as being to save the euro, but secondly, and that is to their shame, to protect Irish interests, have not been achieved. And it's up to the Irish people to give a verdict on this, not a government who is dictated to by Eurocrats and by Merkel and Sarkozy.
Deputy, the next speaker is Deputy Wallace.
Thank you.